There are many universes out there. Welcome to the one with news about all the others. This is Multiverse Tonight. Now, here's your host, Thomas Townley. 1. Welcome back. My guest today is Mr. Jason Hunt, the man who is more or less responsible for me speaking to you through this mic today.
I don't know that I'd want to that you want to claim that. Okay.
He is the founder, publisher, and editor of SciFi4Me.com. SciFi4Me is an all-in-one site for all things sci-fi with news feeds, reviews, interviews, and podcasts dedicated to the science fiction and celebrates 10 years in 2019. Jason Hunt, welcome to Multiverse Tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. And congratulations on the show. I hear this is doing pretty well.
Yep, pretty well. You know, we're 6 months along, so and I've just signed for my first ever table at the Smallville Comic-Con.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. We're hoping to get down there too, so we'll see you down there.
Oh, great! Hey, maybe we can share the table. I'll be willing to do that. Starting off here. Jason, go ahead and take us back to the beginning. How did SciFi4Me come about?
Well, it was February of 2009 when the Sci-Fi Channel announced that they were changing their brand. This was when they first announced the switch over to sci-fi with the new spelling. And ostensibly, what they had shared as their reasoning for the change was that they could control the trademark a little bit better. They could expand some of the different programs that they were able to do, and it was met with a great deal of negative blowback from the fans who felt that, 17 years we've given the Sci-Fi Channel its success, and now you're abandoning us trying to be another USA network. And a lot of the discussion on the online bulletin boards and discussion threads were basically fans saying, we just want someplace where we can get science fiction and none of this reality shows and the supernatural and the ghost hunters and the hauntings and the whatever. And my initial thought was, well, why does it have to be a cable network? What if it was something online? And this is back before the digital channels that we've got now, before Netflix, before Disney Plus, before Hulu, and all of those others. We had the idea that eventually what I could do is set up a site that could be kind of an all-in-one where you could watch video, you could read any kind of news articles, and basically be the movie theater, the newspaper, the TV station, the radio station, and the community center all in one website. It didn't quite work out like that, but we launched in March of 2009. Right after that, so thinking eventually we would be an online TV network, very similar to the way Sci-Fi Channel started when it was just a little channel in Florida. And the response was not great. It was limited resources being what they were. It started off as a blog in the basement, just like everything else. But we went about a week after we launched the site and managed to get into our first Planet Comic-Con with cameras and microphones, and we were able to interview several of the guests there, including Aaron Gray, and we talked to Carrie Callan and Kevin Mellon and Dennis Hopeless. This was back before Kevin was a storyboard artist on Archer, before Dennis Hopeless was working with Marvel. We've talked to he's married to Kelly Sue, I believe now. What's his name? He was I can't remember his name now. He did Iron Man. He went to do Iron Man right after we had interviewed him. So we had a good start. But it was small. It was not as successful as I had originally anticipated, but my eyes were bigger than my internet at that point.
Oh, what is, it's a building thing. What have been some of the highlights for SciFi4Me?
There have been a lot of them. One of the things that the having the site has afforded us is the ability to meet with and visit with a number of celebrities. I mean, that's the usual perk that you get to talk to all of these people that you see on TV, and you very quickly realize that they're just people like anybody else, and they have needs and they have desires and they get tired and they have things that they don't want to talk about and they have things that they really want to talk about. They're just like anybody else. And being able to get a little bit of an inside perspective on the production of television shows and movies and the process of creating books and comic books and that sort of thing, that's been a highlight. But also being able to just talk to people, just meet with people out at the events. And we've been able to do things that no other website has ever done before or since. We did all 5 days at Worldcon 74 live from the floor of the event. We got 53 interviews in 5 days. We talked to just about everybody. Once they figured out what we were doing there, because it was something new. It was something that people had to wrap their head around. That we were actually live streaming Worldcon, very similar to what you would see with a broadcast network doing a sports event or a political convention, where you had anchors down on the floor, you had reporters out in the field, and we were talking about this event pretty much through the entire 5 days that was here in Kansas City. And then we also did it for Planet Comic-Con in 2017. And our hope is to do more of that in 2019 from a number of other events.
Okay. And so you did all these things. About the beginning of 2018, you started winding down. Take me back there, and what made you decide to come back?
Well, we run our site now with a WordPress template. And I'm constantly looking for plugins that would help us, make that design better and give it some more features and more functions. And one of the challenges has always been getting good statistics, getting good data on our audience and our traffic and what kind of things people are looking at. And I finally found a plugin that could give us a distinction between traffic that is generated by bots, search engines and malware and information data mining and that sort of thing, and traffic coming from an actual real people IP address. And back in September, October last year, we determined that about 95% of our traffic was generated by bots. So we decided to take a break, reevaluate a little bit, and kind of wind down. And we did a few video productions up through the beginning of 2018, but then we pretty much went dark. And my original thought at that point was that we were done. And I mulled about it for a little bit and really didn't have any plan to come back until Planet Comic-Con announced their dates and announced that it was their 20th anniversary that was coming up here in March of 2019. And that got me thinking, well, March of 2019 is going to be our 10th anniversary. And if we go back to Planet Comic-Con, that would be our 10th time at Planet Comic-Con. So things started, just kind of circling around in my head that, these are things that I started thinking about. It was, okay, well, if we came back, what would it look like? What kind of things would we need to do? Knowing that our audience is, not really there. We'd basically be starting from scratch, which is the approach that we've taken. So I've done a lot of research. We did a lot of market surveys, trying to determine what would be the best approach. And I think we're about 80% there.
Perfect. And so now that you're bringing it back, tell us more about what you plan on doing in this coming year.
We're going to do a lot more collaborations, for one. We're excited about some of the partnerships that we're putting together. Starting in January, we have 5 shows coming back. We have, 2 shows coming back and several new shows. We have the H2O podcast is coming back. Tim Harvey and I are going to be doing our thing. And we have a new show called Good Morning Multiverse, which is going to run on Saturday mornings. which is kind of, as the name implies, it's very similar to Good Morning America. It's going to be a mix of news and discussion and interviews and feature stories and whatnot. And then we have a new show called TARDIS Sauce, which is going to be our Doctor Who themed discussion program. We're partnering with the guys over on the Traveling the Vortex podcast out of Topeka. And Tim Harvey is going to be our participant. He's going to do our side of it. And then Glenn, Sean, and Keith from Traveling the Vortex will be in on that as well. And it'll be a bi-weekly, every other week program, half-hour program, discussing pretty much everything having to do with Doctor Who. Not just the current season, the current Doctor, but also everything else, all the way back to the beginning. That includes, classic Who. It includes the books. It includes the comic books from Titan. It includes the Virgin books. It includes the Wilderness Years, the audio stuff. Anything and everything having to do with Doctor Who, they'll have that on the table. And then we have another program called Trailer Park, which is going to be a discussion, a roundtable discussion among filmmakers, film critics, and industry professionals about the trailers that are coming out. So whenever, let's say, we just had a trailer for Avengers Endgame, that would be something where we'd look at the trailer, analyze, does it work, does it not work, does it give away too much, does it make me want to see the movie, is there stuff that's not in there that I want to see in there, and talk about the process of actually making trailers and what goes into that step in the marketing of a film to generate the audience, to get people in the seats. Yeah. And then we've got a couple of other things that are in development for February that I'm not quite ready to announce yet, but it's coming. We're very excited about everything that we're going to be able to do.
Great. And so there is way more to come after this initial release.
There is. And I think a couple of things are going to be very exciting for fans. People who have been around for a while, especially people my age, who are going to really appreciate some of the news that we've got. I'm not quite ready to say yet, because I need to make sure everybody's okay with us announcing it, making it public. But we're very excited about a couple of partnerships that we still have yet to make public. Cool.
Now, as far as genre projects this coming year, 2019, like the new Avengers movie, things like that, is there anything you're looking forward to?
I would say I'm curious about what Captain Marvel's going to do.
Yeah.
Given that it is the beginning of the next, it's not really the beginning of Phase 4, but it's coming in on that tail end of Phase 3 into Phase 4, and we're hearing not too much yet. The reactions to the trailers have been mixed. Not too many people are thrilled with what they've seen out of Brie Larson so far, but it's still early in the campaign. So that's out there. You've got Avengers Endgame, of course, which is coming out, which I'm not looking forward to it as much, because I know that there's going to be things happening after that, because we already know that there's a Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, that's coming out. So we know that Peter Parker is going to come back, which kind of implies that everybody's going to come back. Not everyone will make it back in, but we know that there's going to be some resolution to that, and it kind of spoils it a little bit. And then, of course, you got Star Wars Episode 9 coming out at the end of the year, and I think, despite my disappointment with The Last Jedi, I'm about 60% looking forward to Episode 9. I'm curious what J.J. Abrams is going to do to fix things, given what we're hearing now coming out of Disney and Lucasfilm as far as the reset, so-called, quote-unquote, in addition to what they're doing with TV with Mandalorian and the other projects they've got in development.
Well, great. All right. That's all I say. That's all the questions I have today. Jason Hunt is the editor and publisher of SciFi4Me.com, SciFi4Me. And as he said, The Return of H2O comes out on January 5th. You can find it wherever podcasts are found. And we'll have a link to SciFi4Me in the show notes. Jason Hunt, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Thomas. Looking forward to talking to you again.
Of course, I got right for you again.
That's right. Well, yeah, we didn't even talk about that. The return of the long box hunter. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Gotta nail my butt to this chair so I can write.
That's right. You're on a deadline now, sir.
All right. Good to see you.
All right, you too.
Bye.